And there's a lot of stress going on in our country at the moment. And I think Kenyans need to relax, even as they look forward to dealing with these landmark issues that are coming, culminating as they do with the August 8th election. I called you because everybody has a place they call home. And they have a place they have people they call family. And when you attack the family, then it doesn't look good at all. That is literally called hitting below the belt. For the first time, I'll introduce my son Kennedy, because he already hit the headlines in the Standard, I think about March the 1st, and confessed, really, confirmed he's a secretary of the Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation. I'm also the patron, and indeed my wife is a CEO, and we have Mrs. Martha Kasanga Mulwa. She is a renowned educationist, wife to the late Justice Kasanga Mulwa, and she serves as the treasurer of the foundation. The foundation has helped to educate, apart from anything else, close to 2,000, maybe over 2,000 young Kenyans, mainly those from disadvantaged backgrounds. And we were looking, initially started as a bursary for Mwingi, Kitui North, then Mwingi North, a bursary fund, which was separate from what the government normally would give. And our main supporter basically was the church in Cyprus, through a very good friend of mine called Archbishop Chrysostomos of Kition. He has visited this country many times, and they were the ones, the main supporters of the bursary fund, and they continue to do so up to today. As a result of which, young men and women who could otherwise not have managed to go to high school and to university are benefited. If it was not for this political situation in the country, I think I was invited to join with some of the beneficiaries at the foundation offices, so that the country can see that one of the things you can do for your fellow man and woman is to develop their capacity. In fact, it's so important to me that it is more important than even building a road, because when you empower a fellow Kenyan to realize their full potential, they'll be able to build many, many, many roads and all kinds of infrastructure going forward. So it has come to me as a very disheartening thing to see the foundation being besmirched, my own personality being muddied around. But I want to tell you that nothing will shake us. Nothing can shake my resolve to bring the kind of change I believe this country needs. Not even the threat of being charged with money laundering. I can tell you, between you and me, and if you want to check, I think the dollar account, because people are allowed to open foreign denominated accounts in this country, it is not illegal. You go to any bank, you can open a foreign denominated account or a Kenya shilling account. Yeah? And sometimes, in fact, some of the banks prefer to lend in foreign currency because of the high interest rate normally that is charged the Kenya shilling account. But I think the account has just about $3,000. Now, $3,000 and the Kenya shilling account, I keep on replenishing myself from my own resources, so that what my wife has been doing, paying school fees for these kids, does not stop. I've never had a situation where Mr. Fasul Mohammed, the Executive Director, so-called, of NGO Coordination Council, can freeze accounts without a court order. That's number one. And I also want to say I'm yet to be served, or the foundation is yet to see the letter that was done yesterday and copied to all the media houses. And I want to thank the many Kenyans who participated on, when I arrived from Mombasa late last night, I saw on KTN people being asked whether or not they thought this was political persecution. And a lot of them, overwhelming majority, said, yes, this is all politics. But I therefore want to urge we separate politics from NGOs that are so well-meaning. This was one aspect, bursary fund, which of course then we moved it, cascaded from being a constituency bursary fund to a national bursary fund, as a result of which 3 years ago, I think, 4 years, we send over 40 young Kenyans from all parts of the country. I remember somebody from Kisii, somebody from Bondo, and others who are interviewed competitively. 20 plus young people went to study in universities in Cyprus through the efforts of the foundation. You can even call that the second airlift after that of the late Tom Joseph Mboya. And these are young men and women who have since come back, and they are doing the best to build their country. So to besmirch a foundation which is committed to lifting people out of poverty, and whenever drought situations arise, my wife was all over the country helping people with famine relief. She would literally go knocking on the doors of people. I think she was number 2 to Abbas Mohammed of Red Cross, asking people, listen, we cannot allow people to die. Hata kama ni kilo moja ya sukari ama mafuta taa, peana watu wasife njaa. That was another way the foundation has worked. I saw mention of some 50 million shillings from China Youth Development Fund. This came, yes indeed, and the 50 million shillings was given as a dummy check, work to be done through the foundation. But what our Chinese friends did was they brought all the materials, for the 5 or 4 primary schools. One in Mheshimiwa Musila's constituency, as it then was, Mwingi South, and then the other 3, I think in Mwingi North. And the Chinese brought the materials, constructed everything themselves. There's one at Wikidhuki Primary School. People can go there and see those Chinese materials which are used at that particular time. And because kuna mchwa sana, I think the school was not looking glorious. There's another one, a place called Mandongoi, and there's another one at a school called Mudhungwe. I think there's another primary school. There are 4. And I think they also gave some support to schools in Kisii through Professor Ongeri, who was then the Minister for Education. So when people concoct stories in order to spoil our image, I think they should know that we have a capacity to stand for what is true, what is fair, what is correct, what is just. So, one Mr. Fasul Mohammed wrote the following letter. This is the only letter I have. The other one, which is dated yesterday, we are yet to receive because it was served to the media first. So if anybody has the original copy, please give it to us. But on April 10th, he wrote to the foundation. This is the CEO, Fasul Mohammed, Executive Director. We write with the reference to the above captioned subject matter and further to the compliance notice dated March 1st. That's the one that the Standard initially carried, and I think that that is subject to some libel action on a separate note. We have reviewed your submissions in response to above mentioned compliance notice, namely A, submissions towards the regularization of bank accounts held and operated under the foundation, board minutes approving the accounts, a list of the bank accounts detailing the bank name, branch, account numbers, and signatories to these accounts. B, certified bank statements for accounts operated under the Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation from 1st January 2010 to 28th February 2017. C, funding agreements for projects undertaken between 1st January 2010 and 28th February 2017. D, submissions from your auditor, Mrs. Victor Mutisia and Company, clarifying discrepancies noted during the review of your annual returns for the years ended December 2010-2015. These are very normal accounting procedures. If they detect a discrepancy, the auditor can clarify. Our records have thus been duly updated, and the following statement then ensued. We therefore wish to inform you that the Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation is now compliant with the NGO Coordination Act 1990, the attendant regulations, and terms and conditions of registration. Yours sincerely, Fasul Mohammed, Executive Director, dated 10th April this year. Now I want you to ask with me what has happened between 10th of April and May. Is it the 2nd? Yesterday. May. 2nd, yes, 2nd of May.
Yesterday.
Then you can now see the mischief. So I thought this is important. So Kenyans can see this for what it is, right? And of course, this is Office of the President, NGOs Coordination Board. One of the things I would recommend going forward is, and then the NGO Coordination Board should really be an independent body. Because at a time like this, I'm quite sure there are people who met, and I even know where they met, right? And decided to come up with this letter. I mean, the one I'm here to receive. So, naona tu niseme hayo before I come to the political